This is Shaun with Foundation Solutions Group, and thank you for joining us at Solutions University today. A lot of homeowners hear from their uncle or a realtor or whomever. When you have a problem situation like this, the first thing they're going to recommend to you is a French drain in your yard. So what we've learned over the years is that French drains, there's three components of soil. There's sand, there's silt, there's clay. You can keep the sand and the clay most often out of a drain, but the silt is the smallest particle in soil. So those three products make up soil. The smallest particle you'll often find enters the drain, and eventually the drain is silted shut. This may take a year, it may take 10 years, but the moral of the story is you're going to revisit that situation over and over and over and over. One of the fixes that we do is we'll see that we take the French drain or our drainage and we put it in the inside of the basement, inside of the crawl space, because we can get the drain out of the silt and the drain will never fail. So that's the reason we have these long warranties. We can do these transferable warranties, life of the structure warranties. All of those things apply because we have learned how to keep the silt and the sediment out of our drain system. It's a reason that you're not going to want to probably waterproof it yourself. You need to put the drainage in a crawl space situation beside the footing. It must go there. It can't be on top of the footing. Same is true on the outside of the home, because these drains will go. So another problem is clay bowl effect. What you're seeing here is that clay soils tend to hold water. So after a rain, you're going to come back and this water is going to be here for a day or two or three. This clay soils by nature want to hold the water next to the structure, and then finally it's going to take a path of least resistance. So water does exactly what Mother Nature wants it to do, and it finds the low spot. So whether that's your basement or your crawl space, when this water is sitting around this structure, if you can picture they're getting ready to build a house and put it here, put it right in the middle, and then that's going to be surrounding this home. It's going to come in at the mortar joint. It's going to come in at a tie-in if it's a concrete wall, where it's going to come in. And so the waterproofing is we're going to actually put the drain on the inside of the structure so that we're not dealing with this mud and the sand and the silt clogging the drain, and that way you get a life of the structure warranty. Some people today think they can do outside waterproofing, dig it all up, put the French drain way down by the footer, and the definition of insanity, folks, is if you do the same thing that didn't work the first time, you keep doing it over and over, that's insanity. So what happens is when the builder built the structure and he put that drain in and it's silted shut, that's when all the problems begin with waterproofing. That's why down the road you've never had a problem before, and then 15 years later you have all this water in your basement. So expansive soils, clay bowl effect, the water's going to come in. Another disadvantage of the French drain is if your drain is on the surface outside of your home, water can move through the ground and you'll never see the water on top of the ground. French drains are designed to get water that's moving on top of the ground. It doesn't do anything for, like I say, a fingerling spring on a heavy rain that moves through the soil and hits the side of your crawl space or your basement. So you want to waterproof at the lowest point. French drains by nature are very ineffective because of all the water that can be lower in the ground than that French drain. So if that is just 3 feet under the ground, you have the little spring on a heavy rain, it's still going to make it to your structure and you're still going to have a waterproofing problem. So I often tell people not to get too carried away on the outside, because a good foundation contractor is going to waterproof the structure from the inside 99.9% of the time. It's just what works. It's proven to work, and we can honor these gracious warranties because it does work. So if you have water in your basement or crawl space and you are looking for a solution, give us a call. We'll be happy to come out and give you a free inspection. Thanks for joining us today, and remember to call Foundation Solutions Group for all your foundation repair needs.